Hello, I'm delighted to be talking to you again because we've been out of business for a month and I've been missing Play Pint and I hope you have. We're coming back now, opening on September the 3rd with 14 new plays. We've got a great variety of work. We're doing a couple of co-productions with the Bristol Tobacco Factory for the first time. We've got down at the end of the line, we've got another panto, Aladdin and Genie, and in between every kind of work imaginable. And I hope you'll come and enjoy yourselves, and we look forward to welcoming you back to Moor. And today, first of all, I'm going to talk with our first writer. I'm in the foyer of the Citizens Theatre with Keith Temple. We're rehearsing the first play of the season, Dead Famous, which Keith has written for us. And it's lovely to have you, Keith.
Nice to be here.
To be opening the season with your play.
Very excited.
Tell us a little bit about the play.
It's called Dead Famous, and it's about a bogus stage clairvoyant called Michael Arcane. And there is a play on the word. Arcane is kind of secretive, and there's a vague sort of hint of the occult about it. He claims to be in contact with dead people and bring them back to talk to people in his audiences. And he's a complete fake, and he's about to be exposed in very embarrassing circumstances by the ghost of his dead uncle.
Right. And
it's about fame, really. It's about what people do or prepared to do just to get fame.
Yes, and it's based really on a tradition of these stage mediums.
Yeah, absolutely. I've always been intrigued by it for years. I think you either fall into two camps. You believe that these people are really communing with spirits on the other side, or you don't. And I fall into the latter category. And if you don't believe it, then how do they do it? And there are various ways, and that's what I kind of, explore in this play, and that's what comes back to haunt him. But I just think these people are evil because they're playing on people's grief and being paid for it, making a career out of it, and it's just not right.
But it's also funny.
Oh, it is. It's funny, don't get me wrong, it is a comedy. I think basically Michael, the central character, and it is a sort of one-man show with voices, is the sort of man who's wanted to be famous and has tried his hand at everything. You get the sense that he was maybe trying his hand at telling horoscopes or being a singer and failed at that, and he's hit on, I know what, I'll be a clairvoyant. Right. And he's not the brightest of men, and he's not the best at doing impressions of the dead people that he, supposedly communes with. So that's where the humour comes from, and he's just out of touch emotionally with the people he's talking to. He's talking to some woman who sort of reversed over her husband and killed him in a car, and he said, "Oh well, yes, I drove a Saab, and you don't have a good view out of the rear view window." So he's just out of touch with people's emotions because he is a psychopath.
Yeah.
And I really mean he's a psychopath, because has he murdered someone? Well, you'll just have to watch it and find out.
And the play is being performed by Charlie Ross, who's a Glasgow-based stand-up comedian and actor.
He is.
You've done some other things together.
Charlie and I have known each other for 2 or 3 years now, and we do a lot of writing together. Comedy-based, but also dramas, just a variety of stuff, because we get on well. We have the same sort of sense of humour, the same interests, and I wrote this for him.
Right.
I wrote to his strengths, and I knew that he could do it. Fingers crossed, of course. Yeah, he can. And I knew he was the right person for it.
Yeah.
He's a good actor.
Unlike quite a lot of writers who work in the theatre, your route has not been from theatre. You're very much a television writer.
I was brought up in the television medium. I started my career in television, in documentaries, and then progressed into to television drama in soaps. And I did soaps for a long time.
You started with Emmerdale?
Emmerdale, yes, back in the 90s, when they actually did farming and told farming stories. And then I went on to Heartbeat and went to London to work on Casualty, which is when I became a writer. So yes, I was always interested in television and still am. But after a few years, I've been doing EastEnders for a long time and just wanted a challenge. And television.
But then you had a great period in Wales.
Yeah, I did Doctor Who, and that was great fun working with Russell T Davies and Julie Gardner and Phil Collinson, who were people who were all very good at their job and at the top of their tree. And it was the first time in a long time in television that I actually had a laugh, because people, we're not, in television you're not sort of splitting the atom or performing brain surgery. It should be fun, but it's too poor-faced, too poor-faced these days. No fun at all, and so that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do something different. I wrote a novel and I started to write plays for theatre.
And this is your first full...
This is my first full-length play, and I've dabbled in the past with Manchester University and the Hampstead Theatre, but this is the first full-length play. And I wanted to do theatre because in television you don't work with actors. You write a piece, you write a script, and it's taken from you, and it's goodbye script, and you never see it again. With theatre work, you actually rehearse with, or you can rehearse with the actors, and I just think I get a real buzz out of that. You know, if an actor says to me, "Oh, do you mind if I say this line like that?" and well, I think if it makes me look really good, then please do say it. Whereas, you know, in television, that tends not to happen.
You're more in hands-on with the material.
Yeah, and also the thing in television, and I know we're talking about theatre, but because it is my background, television doesn't reflect the society we're living in anymore. I believe theatre can tell stories about politics and life in a way that television as a medium can't do anymore.
Or doesn't choose to do.
Or chooses not to do. Absolutely, it chooses not to tell stories about society. So I think it's just a wonderful chance to work in the medium of theatre and tell stories about the world we're living in. Because as a writer, you become a writer because you have something to say. And theatre allows you to do that.
And you do have some rather exciting projects in the pipeline coming up. Television and film.
I've got a film coming off next year, which is a comedy called In Case of Fire, and it's set in the 70s and the weeks before Margaret Thatcher comes to power. And it's about retained firemen who do have a job as well as work in the fire brigade. It's a comedy. I'm working on a Holby City towards the end of the year, and I'm working on another novel and also another play which we're hoping to do with next March, April, and also in America in the summer and in November in Florida. So lots of things. Well,
it's been lovely talking to you. I'm just out of rehearsals with Charlie Ross, who's playing the role. I think it's tremendous fun, it's different, and I'm very pleased that it's opening our season, and I hope you'll come and see it in huge numbers and encourage us to keep going. Thank you.
Thank you, Keith. Cheers.